supreme on the beat.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Full Pedal Jacket qualifying for round number 3 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're getting to it a little bit late tonight, a little bit later than usual, but we got about 2 minutes until we start our solo qualifying runs. Our largest qualifying group yet this season. So we have about 19 or 20 that are slated to show up to run their laps and get their spots on the grid for tomorrow night's big show. They're from Charlotte. A couple of things before we get started. I want to start by kind of picking up where we left off last week. Last week we kind of left you on an uncertain note with the finish of the race. Obviously you saw Zack Lima came across the line in first, but after further review that we did both during the stream and after the stream, we deemed that he jumped the final restart, and so the win was given to the 4 of Zach Camella. So an update for you there. Our winner was Zachary Camella, and we will get a word with him after qualifying is over tonight. So stick around after the last car leaves the track, and we're going to get a word from last week's winner. The other thing is you may notice guys running the track a little bit different than they did the first time we came here. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when we actually get into runs, but a new iRacing build did come out today, changed the way this track runs a little bit, so I expect just a little bit different look to how these guys run their laps and figure out the line for this racetrack. So times are a little bit different as well, or at least you will notice that when we get into some qualifying runs tonight, so that should make tonight and tomorrow night quite the interesting event. About 45 seconds to go until we start our qualifying runs. First qualifier tonight is going to be Brady Shoei. We'll get into that a little bit more here in just about a minute. And some new faces as well that we'll kind of get into talking about as we go through the night tonight. Still about 30 seconds to go. Full Pedal Jacket brought to you, as we were last week, by JCB Excavation Incorporated. Big thanks to William Rice for his donation on that end. Great guy, great partner to us, and it's good to have him on board for this season, the whole season. Practice wrapping up here the next 5 or 6 seconds. And we will get right to it. Alrighty. So qualifying will begin here in just a second. Guys are starting to get on track, getting their pit box. First qualifier this evening is going to be Brady Shoei. He's run well in the past. He ran well in this race last time we came here. Has not gotten that elusive win yet, so we'll see if he can put down a good enough lap this week to get himself in good position for the race. There is a car on track.
Oh. There's somebody already out there taking laps.
Oh.
We're here. I'll wait for him to finish if he wants to.
Now we'll get underway with qualifying. A little bit of an issue, a little bit of a technical issue there. First qualifier, like we said, Brady Shoei. Weaves car back and forth on the apron. He'll get out and start taking his 2 laps tonight. Same format as per the usual. So Brady's going to give us our first look at how these guys will try to run the track tomorrow after the update we had today. Drives it down to the bottom, comes off to take lap number 1. At 180 miles an hour across the stripe. Expect the second lap to be the faster of the two here. It's kind of the way the qualifying is run at Charlotte. Hooks the bottom of the track, right on that blue and white line. Guides the car up off turn 2. Good speed so far down the backstretch. 185, 186 off into turn 3. First lap for Brady was a 29.328. But like I said, second lap will be the quicker of the two. Already, you can tell in his speed, this is definitely a faster lap. He actually is able to hook the bottom, so we'll see what kind of lap time this is. I'm kind of surprised. I figured guys would have to run a little bit higher up on the racetrack. Second lap for Brady, a 28.959, so a solid second lap for Mr. Brady Shoei. Oh, he's on the provisional pole for the time being. We'll give him a second to get off track before our second qualifier heads out, and that's Griffin Williams with a fresh paint job on that car. So a good-looking Chevrolet there for Griffin. He'll pull to the end of pit road.
Time for it.
So Griffin will begin his couple of laps. Started to see, especially later in the day today, as we ran some practice off-stream. Griffin's got some speed. We'll see if he translates to qualifying. But he does have quite a bit of speed here this week. Just like he did last week, a solid top 10 finish for him last week. He's sitting top 10 in the points right now. So a good start to the season, and we'll see if he can carry it over to this week. Let's start his first lap. Whole time, still 28.959 after one driver. This is about the racing line I expected from these guys. Right about where Griffin's running right now. We'll see what he does on his second lap. Maybe just trying to build some speed. A little bit too high there. We'll see what he does on his second lap. Almost caught the wall. First lap, here comes Griffin. Down to the start-finish line. It is a 29.209. We'll see if he hooks the bottom this time. He tries to, and he'll get almost all the way down there. Rides way high off turn 2. Carries a ton of speed down the backstretch, but got really, really close to that wall off turn 2. We'll see if he can make up some time in turn 3 and 4. Appears that he's going to do just that. Brings it off turn number 4. Comes down to the start-finish line. Second lap for Griffin is a 29.06. About a tenth off Brady's lap, so another solid lap there. So, wow, good 2 laps for Griffin. Griffin's got some speed this week. It's going to be interesting to see how it translates to the race tomorrow night, but a good run for him. The next qualifier is TJ Roberts. Saw him a lot last week at Las Vegas for some late race trouble.
The one that's at the end of the pits for staging.
Saw some late race trouble for him last week. Had a really good run though on a stage from Pit Strategy. Tried to win another stage from Pit Strategy. It just didn't work out for him, but he is fast and he's carrying speed into this week. So expect him to run up front a lot, including here in qualifying. Still the same paint job on that machine. Good wrench on the hood. And he'll start his first lap 2 for the first time. TJ's a guy that's upped his game since we started doing this league. He was already fast when he came to us, but now he is really, really competitive, and I expect no less out of this week from him. Comes down to complete his first lap with a time of 29.481. Now he hooks to the bottom of the racetrack, though. Carries some good speed off turn 2. And down the backstretch towards turns 3 and 4 for his second of 2 laps. See if he can carry speed. He's having to lift off it a little bit. Good carry off there. Keep it off the wall. Comes down the line. TJ Roberts' second lap is a 28.957. To the provisional pole. 2 1,000ths better than Brady Shoei's lap to open qualifying. So TJ with a solid run there. And did not catch who was next. It's Clint Mcgill. So we'll give TJ a second. I think he ran a little bit too far there. So hold on. We'll let TJ get off the track here.
Sometimes it's a little bit hard getting these cars wound down coming to pit road, especially with the updated track. It's a little bit tricky doing it.
Yep, we're learning as we go. Some of these guys are learning as they go. And now our fourth qualifier, excuse me, Clint Mcgill will begin to roll. Bit of a rough week last week for him. Kind of fought his way through some adversity after their whole team really ran well at Daytona. So he looks to kind of rebound from a rough week last week and put a good lap on the board and get some positive momentum going his way. Runs right up against the wall, brings a little bit down further off the wall, comes off turn 4 to start his first lap. He's going to hook the bottom on his first lap. We'll see what it does time-wise for him. Hooks down to the bottom of the racetrack. So I guess just forget what I said about these guys having to run a little bit higher. We'll see if it happens in the race tomorrow night. But for now, not what I expected. First lap for Mr. Mcgill is a 29.243. Off turn 2, carrying some good speed. Looks to be a good lap for him. Carried a lot of speed into turn 3. That's more of the racing line I expected right there. You can carry a lot of speed off turn 4 using that racing line. Down the line, Clint Mcgill with a 29.030. So all 4 guys on track so far run really, really solid laps. Not separated by much. Just over a tenth between first and fourth right now. We'll let Clint around here bring that thing down to pit road. And next on track is going to be Mr. DJ Thomas. DJ called on an early night last week at Las Vegas. After running pretty well, he saw him make that incredible save off turn 2 last week. Ended up calling it a night early. He had a couple schedule conflicts, so he wasn't able to finish last week's race. So we'll see what he can put on the board this week. Off turn 4, he'll start his first lap here at the start-finish line. See what he does. He's going to run middle on his first lap, so probably gaining some speed, carrying some onto his second lap, which typically has been faster. He'll start his second lap. First lap for DJ is a 29.03 on his first lap, so a really fast first lap. See what he runs on his second one, but wow. See if maybe he pushed a little bit harder than everybody else on his first one, or excuse me, if he's just got serious blistering speed. Comes off turn 4 to the line. DJ, second lap, is a 28.897. A really, really good lap. Puts him on the provisional pole. First one to break into the 28.8 range. Just under 28.9 for DJ. And over half a tenth faster than now second place TJ Roberts. Run for DJ. And next up's going to be the Bentley Motorsports entry of Ron Holmes, 33. So Ron will bring his machine up to speed. New look for Ron this week. A little bit different than what we're used to seeing on his machine.
It was actually pretty close.
So Ron comes through 3 and 4. Ron, a guy who looked to be running pretty well last week, got caught in some others' messes. Ended up having a rough go at it, but hopefully he can bounce back this week. Or down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, close to the bottom, about a half a lane off the bottom of the racetrack. And able to carry a lot of speed on the backstretch. Heads for turn number 3. Again, holds it about a half a lane, maybe 2/3 of a lane off the blue and white line. Ooh, ran way high there off turn 4. Almost caught the wall. First lap for Mr. Holmes is a 29.055. Was a little bit higher. Ooh, maybe didn't quite make his racing group. Luckily, the racing line moved up just a little bit. You can carry just as much speed. In fact, carried a lot more than guys we've seen run earlier, so we'll see if it benefits him here. Ooh, car riding up the racetrack. Had to let out of it. We'll see how much it affects his time. It's 28.961, so still a solid lap. Well, Ron Holmes puts him 4th on the board for the time being. 4 1,000ths off second, so couldn't ask for much more. Our next qualifier. Next qualifier is a new name to our series. And it is Paul Ferrini. And I'm sure I'm butchering that. No, not butchering it, but we're going to find out exactly how he says it. He's new to us. We'll see what he can do in his first qualifying run. He'll start to bring his machine up to speed off turn 2. Paul, a guy I don't know much about quite yet. So I'll kind of have to learn it as I go here. He starts his first lap. Runs the middle, closer to the top, actually. On the backstretch, headed for turn 3. Runs way up there, right up against the fence. Brings it down to his first lap, which is a 29.328. He runs up there again. Qualifying time-wise, not the ideal line, but clearly with how much speed he's carrying it off the corner, can't say I blame him. May not get him the qualifying time that he's looking for, but man, tomorrow night, this line may be really fast. He's carried some serious speed off each corner. His second lap is a 29.031, and that was running the top. That's a good lap off the top. So that is really interesting. First guy to really run his second lap up that high. Nice. Stoke. Oh, now he lays off of it. So a good run for Paul there, and his first run on qualifying with us.
10-4.
And another new face to the league is Mr. Shane Weatherington. That's who's coming out to make his run now. Joined the league last week. Expect him to be pretty fast here tonight. We'll see if he can touch the 28.8 range. Starts to bring his car up to speed. And he'll start his qualifying run right here. So 7 guys have gone already. Lap spread is really, really close. Less than 2/10 separating all 7 cars that have gone out on the racetrack. So, not a very wide spread of times. Pretty competitive. And you hope that translates to the race. If it does, we're going to have a really good show on our hands tomorrow night. Shane Weatherington, first lap. He will clock in at a 29.047. Hooks it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Rides the car up off turn 2. Hooks it down low again. And comes down to the start-finish line to complete his run. His second lap clocks in at a 29.175. So 29.047 is going to stick for him. That's good for 7th. Again, not too much spread from the top to there, about 1/10.5, but it is still, it shows you how competitive the times are this week. The next qualifier is going to be Rit Kadat, as I have learned it is pronounced now. So I have been... That's what he told me. So hopefully I've not been... I mean, I've been mispronouncing it all season, if that's true. So we'll go with it for now. Most of the time, just call him Rit anyway, so... Good, yeah. Runs the top. Rit runs the top. Coming over to the green flag, he'll take it right here. It's the 9th car to qualify. So a lot of guys to go. So a lot of guys still we have yet to see. Rit ran the middle there in turn 1 and 2. Carries really good speed off turn 2. For a first lap, he carried a ton of speed. Right above that groove you see in the racetrack, the seam, she drops down below it to get off the corner. It helps him carry speed to the line. First lap for Rit is 29.180. But man, he is carrying some speed in there. Brings it off turn 2. He ran the bottom right there. He is going for a quick lap. He's going to get it, I think. Ooh, car's starting to run up the racetrack. Had to get out of it. It's going to affect his time. That's one thing. You're running the bottom, so come in and take a second lap. Should be a 29.058. It's one of the things about the bottom, with the way the track is now after the update, is, man, it is hard to stick it on the bottom. Car wants to drive right up the banking, and it hurt him there. That was going to be a really fast lap. But he had to let out of the throttle. Next qualifier, give me number 12 of Justin Kane. Another new face to the league. So the 10th guy to take to the racetrack is a newcomer in Justin Kane. I will say, just on a personal note, of the new faces, this is my favorite paint scheme out of the new guys, definitely. A really, really sharp-looking paint job for Mr. Justin Kane. So he'll bring that Chevrolet through 3 and 4. He'll catch the green flag here. Start his 2 laps. Off to turn 1, see what he does. Looks like he's going to run middle, just like most guys have so far. A little bit lower than most guys on their first lap. About the second groove, right below that seam on the racetrack. Through 3 and 4 for the first time, Justin Kane. Same groove as turns 1 and 2, right on that seam. Brings it off turn 4. It's going to be a pretty good lap for lap number 1. Justin Kane, lap 1. Is a 29.028. It's good for 5th right now. He runs the bottom on his second lap. See if he can make it a little bit better. Brings it through 3 and 4. And down the line, second lap for Justin Kane is a 28.885. So, way to make an impression. He goes to the top of the board.
Good lap, Justin.
I will say, for posterity's sake, I've received word
Appreciate
that
it.
Marcus Miller is here now, but I don't see him. And that is from Rit. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing him, but take his word for it. So a heck of a first impression for Justin Kane is... That was a really, really great lap for him. And we'll see if it stands up. Still some guys to go that I expect to be pretty fast, but it's going to be a tough one to unseat. I think they're at the top of the board. So Logan Ikram is up next in the 13. Showed flashes last week, had a pretty good week. Gained some points, gained some stage points, more importantly. So a pretty decent outing for him last week. He's hoping to definitely improve upon that this week, though. As he rolls on his first lap. Still only a separation of under 0.2 between 1st and 10th right now. And if that doesn't show you how competitive this track is going to be, I don't know what will. First lap for Logan Ikram, 29.562. Brings it up off turn 2 on his second of 2 laps. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Second lap for Logan Ikram is... not showing up on my board. I don't know why. It may have. He must have hit the wall. It did not show up for me, so... tough break. That's going to be a pretty decent lap for him. So 29.562 will stick. He's going to have some work to do tomorrow night in the race. See if we can get that done. Next up is another Bentley Motorsports entry. It's Tyler Bentley. the third of the Bentley cars to run. Only 4 of the 5 Bentley Motorsports cars running qualifying tonight. We'll have Nathan with us tomorrow for the race. But he was not able to make it with us tonight, so he'll have some work to do starting from well deep in the field. Tyler starts to roll. Tyler, kind of an off week for him, at least by his standards last week. But he's hoping to rebound. We know he's fast. He can do just that this week at Charlotte. Comes off turn 4. He'll take the green flag for lap 1. Bentley Motorsports very successful early on in the season. Only 2 races in, they hold 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th in points right now. And their 5th driver, Ron Holmes, is quite fast. His points standing does not show how much speed he has. Lap 1 for Tyler is a 29.1. 29.1 right on the dot. Second lap looks better already. We'll see what he can do time-wise here. He was fast last time we came to Charlotte. Obviously, we weren't running for points. Looked like he had the race won. Late caution came out. Slipped away from him, but he's hoping to rebound here on his second attempt. Lap 2 for Tyler Bentley. A 28.843.
What a lap, Tyler. Great lap.
We told you he was fast. And that is an incredible second lap. So Bentley moving to the top of the board. Next on track is going to be his teammate, Zack Lima. Race winner last week. Well, he's fast here as well. Roll off pit road. After winning last week's race, he now holds a 14-point lead over the entire field. First got to break 100 points this year. So you are looking at the new points leader after 2 races. Obviously, the stage points last week really helping, and he's got a really good amount of playoff points for this early in the year with a win and a stage win. We'll see if he can continue to build on that points lead this week and continue to be consistently fast. Comes off turn 4. He'll take lap number 1 and start his 2 laps. For the first time, off into 3 and 4 in the middle, carrying a ton of speed in the middle, but expect his second lap to be faster, but man, I don't know. It's some of the most speed I've seen carried off 2 and 4. First lap for Zach is a 29.029. And he brings it down through 1 and 2. Off into 3 and 4 in his second lap. All right, in the bottom, moving up. Oh, he lost it just a little bit. He gets the wall on his second lap and spins it out. It bounces off the front stretch wall.
Tough break.
So it's gonna be a good lap. He loses the car there after hitting the wall off 4.
Camilla.
The 29.029 will have to stick for him. Good for 7th, so he's gonna have some work to do. So we'll let him get onto pit road here. Next up, another Team Fist Racing entry. It's Michael Lanfear. Give him just a second here. Lanfear will roll out for his 2 laps. Rough week for him last week at Vegas. Could not seem to get away from people wrecking. We'll see if he can... A couple of good laps here. Get himself off to a good start this week. Exit off of turn number 4 down to the green flag. And he'll start his first lap. Similar line to a lot of guys. Get a little bit lower, about a half a lane off the bottom of the racetrack. Off turn 4, lap 1 for Michael Lanphier. Is a 29.03.
That's been a pretty consistent lap time we've seen for guys' first lap.
Yeah, really not a very wide spread of lap times. Even on the second lap, I mean, the spread from 1st to 13th is just over 0.2 of a second. Second lap for Michael Lanphier is not going to count, I believe. So again, must have hit the wall. Didn't catch it if he did. But the 29.03 is a solid lap regardless, and he'll start right around his teammate, Clint Mcgill. They'll start, actually, they tied in times at a 29.03, so they'll start 8th and 9th as of right now. We'll see if they can build on that in tomorrow night's race. Next up, going to be the 17 of Mason Hausmann, a new addition to Supreme Motorsports. The team also carrying DJ Thomas, Griffin Williams, and Shane Weatherington. So a fast group of guys overall. Mason, the final of the 4 cars on that team to run. Mason halfway down the backstretch hill. Bringing it into turn 3. Mason, a guy, had a good week last week overall. All things considered, got some stage points. Ran up front for a lot of the race. Got involved in an incident with Steve Korsak late in the event. And some hard racing for the lead. Thought he might have had a shot at it. Got caught up in another late incident with about 3 laps to go. And unfortunately took him out of contention. He has shown he has the speed to contend, and we'll see if he can do that this week. Brings it off turn 4 for his first lap. First lap, 29.236. Hooks the car down to the bottom of the racetrack. Good speed here. This is going to be a pretty good lap if he can hold it in 3 and 4. We've seen 3 and 4 be a trouble spot, carrying so much speed down the backstretch. Let's see here. Looks like he's going to do a pretty good job of carrying that car off turn 4. He'll bring it down to the start-finish line. Second lap, Mason Hausmann is a 28.911. So send him to 4th on the board. So a good lap for him in the 28.9s. So 7 guys are within about a 1/10 of a second, all under 29 so far. So next qualifier, if I can find him. There he is. The 09 of TJ Moon. Another newcomer. This is his first qualifying effort, and will be his first start tomorrow night at Charlotte. Busch Light colors on the 09. Come off turn 2. Hit pit exit. You'll see the green flag next time around. So 15 times on the board so far. Tyler Bentley still with the pole time of 28.843, ahead of Justin Kane with 28.885. TJ Moon off into turn 1 for his first lap. Brings it off turn 2. Pretty good first lap for him so far. See what he can do with this lap and with his second lap. First lap for TJ is a 29.425. Second lap looking good so far off turn 2. Carries a lot of speed down the backstretch, headed for turn 3. Car right up a little bit. They rode the middle there. They had planned that all along. Second lap, TJ Moon clocks in at a 29.066. It's good for 15th, but that's really not demonstrating just how close the leaderboard is right now. It's about 6 1,000ths off Griffin Williams and 8 1,000ths off of Ritt in 13th. Next qualifier on track is going to be the 5 of Zack Lima. Ran really well last week, especially in the short run. Seems like he had the best car in the short run. Obviously got that costly penalty on the last restart. But this week, more determined than ever to bounce back and get another good run.
I will not make it tomorrow's race.
So Lima will get the green flag here when he gets over to the start-finish line. Green flag in the air. And he heads off for turn 1. Lima, another guy that's pretty high in the point standings right now. If I remember correctly, at least. So looking to build on an early jump on the rest of the field. With another good run at Charlotte here in round number 3. First lap for Zack Lima is a 29.175. See what he can run here on his second lap. As he heads for turn number 3. Looks like a really good lap. We'll see what it clocks in at. Oh, that's going to hurt it. You heard him have to lift off the throttle. See what the time is anyway. It did. 28.878 sends him to second, but man, that lift off the gas right there cost him just enough time. He may have gotten the pole right there if he had stuck. So, and still a really, really fast lap for him at 28.878. But probably not what he was looking for. So, next on track, I believe, is going to be the 34, Marcus Miller. Another newcomer to our league. Several newcomers this week. It's great to see some new faces running with us this week. We'll see what kind of first impression we get from Marcus Miller. Bright blue and orange colors on that. Number 34 Ford Mustang. Kind of looks like a dirt car. I really like the look of this race car. It looks a lot like a dirt late model would. Start look for Mr. Marcus Miller. Off turn 4, he'll start his run right here with the green flag. Look down close to the bottom of the racetrack, about a half a lane off of it. Halfway down the backstretch here on the first lap, looks good so far. Hear him lifting off just a little bit. Maybe guys may be doing that on their first lap, trying to carry some more speed or Trying to save some tire for the second lap. Tires go quick in qualifying, so we'll see if that's what he did. First lap for Mr. Miller is a 29.217. Yeah, definitely carry more speed that time off turn 2. But may have just been kind of saving it here for the second lap. Through 3 and 4. Trying to run around that seam we've been talking about all night. And he brings it down to the checkered flag, and his second lap time is a 29.075. So good for 17th right now, but again, really competitive times. I'll see what he can get done tomorrow night in the race.
Is that it?
So give us just a second. We're going to wait because we have had a late entry tonight. It's Matthewfleming, so we'll give him just a second. And we'll let him take his 2 laps. Same format as usual tomorrow night. An 8 p.m. start time for tomorrow night's race. Should be a good one. 170 laps. Just like last time. Stage length's the same as last week at Las Vegas. 50, 50, and 70. Again, a reminder, stick around after Matthew takes his couple of laps. We'll wrap things up, and we'll get a quick word with last week's winner, Zack Lima. Kind of in a holding pattern here, is waiting for Matthew to get on track.
Oh. I believe that might have been him popping in there.
Oh, there he is. The familiar number 88 Beer Nuts Chevrolet. Our last qualifier of the night is Mattfleming. We'll see what he can get done. The third and final Team Fist racing car to take a lap. So we'll see what kind of time he can put up. Whole time, still a 28.843 set by Tyler Bentley. The car back and forth. Saw Brady Shoei do that as well to open the night. Kind of heat up those tires a little bit. Just heat them up enough to run a quick lap as Matt takes the green flag. Probably not looking for much his first lap. I would think he'd be looking forward to his second lap. And that may be the case. He's lifting off in the corner there. Saving for his second lap. See what he's aiming for here. I think that's what he's doing. His second lap should be very, very good. We'll see. Here he takes the white flag. Second lap underway. First lap for him. A 29.503. He does carry quite a bit of speed there off turn number 2. He'll head for 3 and 4. Car starts to drift up the racetrack, tries to catch it. Loses some speed. We'll see what kind of lap time he puts down. Second lap, Matthewfleming is a 29.116. That's good for 18th. And that is our final qualifier of the evening. So the order looks like this. The pole sitter is Tyler Bentley. A lap of 28.843. So already a good rebound from last week. Outside of row 1 is going to be Zack Lima. In row 2, the newcomer Justin Kane and DJ Thomas. Row 3, Mason Hausmann and TJ Roberts. Row 4 is going to be Brady Shoei and his teammate Ron Holmes. And they're followed immediately on row 5 by their other teammate, Zack Lima. So Bentley Motorsports, a really good representation here. 4 out of their 5 cars, the only 4 that qualified, are all in the top 9. P10, going to be the Team Fist entry of Michael Lanfear. Clint Mcgill starting behind him in 11th. Al Ferrini in 12th. Sean Weatherington 13th. Rick Gadot in 14th. Griffin Williams in 15th. TJ Moon qualified 16th, although you did catch him probably saying he probably would not make it tomorrow night, but we'll see. For right now, he stays in 16th. 17th is Marcus Miller. 18th is Mattfleming. And 19th is Logan Ikram. We'll transition now to get a quick word with our winner from last week, Zack Lima. I will get him. Zack Lima, broadcast booth. You got me, bud?
I got you.
Hey, man. Well, we saw you with a little bit of a rough qualifying effort there. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to know about last week primarily. We didn't really get to talk to you that much, but I want to know what you think now that you've officially gotten the win.
We had a hell of a car last week, and we burned it up. And, the guys over at Bentley were awesome teammates and, helped us out the whole race. But, just pit strategy came down and made the adjustments we had to make. Took some tires when other guys didn't, and it put us in a position to win. So when the whole thing happened on the last lap, we were just where we had to be.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit ago when you were taking your laps. You are the points leader now, so, does it change how you race being 14 points ahead and locked into the playoffs, or do you still kind of put your head down and focus until we get to that point?
The goal is always to win every race, but obviously there's going to be situations where you just don't have the car to beat somebody else. So, I can definitely be more reserved about the way I want to race, and as long as I'm getting stage points, I'm happy.
Yeah, well, definitely. And going into this week, I just want to know, I'm kind of curious what was it like? What was your qualifying effort like there? What happened on your second lap? We saw you just kind of roll up the racetrack.
I knew I had a burner and a half going, I felt really confident that lap would have been the pole, but just one of those things where with the way the track is set up now and the new build, you pay for missing a corner, and I paid dearly. I was carrying a ton of speed, about 189 into that corner, and there's just no way I could have held it down there without lifting. So, I figured never lift, Dale never lifted, so we just sent it into the outside wall, and, we're just going to deal with it and run off of our first lap in 9th tomorrow.
Yeah, well, definitely. Congrats on the win again last week. Good luck tomorrow night and going forward for you and your entire team, and we will probably talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Hickory.
So that was last week's race winner, Zack Lima. He'll start from the 9th position tomorrow night. And I think with all that said, we are done for this evening. Tomorrow night, same time as usual, around 8 p.m. Eastern, right back here at Full Pedal Jacket on Twitch and YouTube. Should be right around 8. Maybe not right at 8, but hopefully not long after. We will be coming to you with the Charlotte 255, sponsored by JCB Excavation Incorporated. Until then, I am Dawson Wise, a.k.a. Big Hickory, and I'm joined, as always, by Peyton Jennings, our league owner. And until then, y'all have a nice